Hello, welcome to part 5 of The Art of Ritual. And I hadn't actually planned on doing a section on this until I finished part 4 and I started thinking about what was coming next, and I decided it was important. So this section is about preparing for ritual, what you need to do to prepare yourself. So obviously the first thing you're going to do is decide why you're doing a ritual. If you do moon rites or celebrate the Wheel of the Year, then obviously you're going to do it because it's time to do one of those. And you'll hear the word Esbat and Sabbat. Sabbat is a sun ritual, so those are the 8 spokes of the Wheel of the Year, the solstices, equinoxes, and then the peaks of the seasons. And Esbats are moon rituals, so new moon, full moon. But you can do a ritual anytime you need to do a ritual. I've talked about the reasons for doing ritual before. If you have something you need to process, if, for instance, you lose your job and you need another one quickly, if you need to find a new place to live, if you need healing, if you're starting a creative project and you want to really be inspired, you can do ritual. You can do ritual just for fun. You can do it to relax yourself. You can do it just because you've fallen off the wagon and need to reconnect for a while. You can do it for any reason that you can think of. So once you've decided that you need to do a ritual and why you need to do it, then you're going to decide, what exactly you want to do, what type of working you need to do, and of course you're going to gather all those things. You're going to set your altar, its own video, and all of that. But before you do the ritual, just as far as you showing up prepared, one of the really important things I think to do is to do a ritual cleansing for yourself before you even come to the ritual space. So a ritual bath is a wonderful thing to do. It puts you in the right frame of mind. It helps you to start removing some of the layers and blocks that might be there so that you can really be fully present in ritual. And I know for me, when I start even thinking about doing a ritual bath and I start preparing that's when I kind of start dropping into trance and into ritual head, I'll talk about that in a minute. So how you do a ritual bath, you can do a ritual shower. I don't think it quite has the same impact for me anyway. But a ritual bath, you obviously want to draw a bath. And I usually keep a great big thing of sea salt. I go to our wonderful co-op here in Kent and get, 5 pounds of sea salt. And so I draw my bath. I consecrate the water, ask that any negativity and anything that doesn't benefit me be removed from the water. And then I put in 3 big handfuls of salt for the maiden, the mother, the crone. And then I put in a 4th handful for the unnamed and the unnameable. And that's usually enough to make the water, palpably salty. So I get into the water then, and while I'm lying there, I'm just meditating. I'm imagining, because salt does draw. When you soak in a salt bath, it does draw impurities out. And if you have the bath hot enough to make you sweat a little bit, that's nice too, because you're releasing more impurities. So you just imagine that you're sitting there and that all of these things, all the blockages, all the tension is dissolving, and any impurities that are in your body, any impurities in your mind, in your emotions, in your will, are all dissolving into the water. And you stay in there as long as you like. And I have done full rituals, and I used to live in a wonderful old place that had the big clawfoot tub. And I took caulking and I sealed up the overflow thing, and I had a great big shelf that I would put across the tub, and I would get into there up to my neck in water, and I had all my altars set on that thing, and I would do fabulous rituals in that tub. It was wonderful. Anyway, one thing I find really, really effective is, well, first of all, to make a statement that anything that I do not need, anything that will not benefit me in the ritual space is left behind in this water, is drawn off and left behind. So get used to making statements of will. This is the way it is, so be it. So mote it be. All right? So sit there, have everything drawn off, and what's really effective for me is to pull the plug and stay in the tub. Because what happens, you lay back and just relax, and as the water drains, you can feel it kind of pulling. You know, your gravity takes over again, and your body sort of, so you get that drawing and pulling feeling, and you can really have that strong sense that things are just getting pulled out of your body and going down the drain. And stay in there, let it all go down the drain. You can take, if your water is particularly salty, you know, take a cup or something and rinse off with some fresh water so your skin doesn't get dry and you don't get itchy and stuff. But that is a really important thing before you do ritual. And then before you start casting, to do a smudge too. So the salt and water, if you take a ritual bath, that's water and earth. Salt represents earth. So those are the feminine elements, and you've cleansed yourself with water and earth, and then you cleanse yourself with fire and air, which is what the smudge represents. So the smoke is the air, and obviously the fire burning the sage. So then you will have cleansed and prepared yourself with all 4 of the earthly elements before you actually enter into the circle. When I did my first rituals, and you'll hear lots of stories, I got lots of stories to tell. I met my first witches when I was 18, and I felt like I was coming home, but I didn't really understand what they were doing. Obviously, it was all new. When I came back to the craft, well, let's say 10 years later, I was seeking and searching, and I knew what I was after, and I knew a lot more about it. And lo and behold, as soon as I said I need it, I'm going back into this, a little witch store popped up in Kent, and I went there and I started learning the basics. And the very first ritual that I did for myself was New Year's Eve, and I spent the entire day preparing for it. And I just went around my house and I gathered all kinds of things, and I set a little altar in each of the quarters. So I set an altar for air, and there was feathers and incense and, you know, wings and pictures of sky and clouds and stuff, you know, whatever I could find that represented air to me. And in the south was my fireplace, actually, and I had it loaded with candles, and my mantle all loaded with candles. And in the west, I was collecting shells and a bowl of water, and can't remember what else, but everything that represented water, and then same with the earth. And then the spirit altar was at the center. So the whole day I was, and I'd been a meditator for years by this point, so I was very familiar with trance state and very familiar with focused intent. So I had no problem with that, and I spent the entire day just in meditative focus, gathering the altars and gathering everything together. And that was like the ritual was actually just the act of putting the ritual together, because the ritual itself was very short. It was just me telling Goddess, here I am, and I'll tell the rest of that story at another time because it's a good one. So that's a way to prepare yourself for ritual. Another way to prepare is to, ritual and magic are very physical, and you know, it's a craft and it's a skill, and it does take physical effort, and you want to make sure that you support yourself. So make sure you're hydrated. If you're doing a ritual during the day, get up and make sure that you're drinking water, you know. Make sure that you eat. You might not want to eat meat because meat is very grounding and it takes a lot of your body's energy to digest it, so you have less available to you for working. So you might want to eat vegetarian for the day, eat fruits and vegetables and rice and things that are as pure and organic and unadulterated as you can, because you want to bring yourself to ritual in a purified state, and you know, you want to be there at your best. You want to present your best when you come to ritual. So so yeah, that's, you know, that's another way to prepare. And I think that's all I have to say about that. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thanks for watching. Again, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Drop some comments below if you have questions. Feel free to contact me through my Facebook page or, you know, through the comment section here or email. And I will see you next time. And until then, blessed be.